two, three, four. Okay. So it's already October 2022, and as far as we remember, every year somewhere in Sapporo, Hokkaido, we have the Sapporo Short Film Festival. And again, the third time we are having the special podcast, the introduction to the program of the festival. My name is Svetlana. I'm actually from Vladivostok, Russia, and Sapporo Short Film Festival is my really good friends. We've met in 2018 when I first time came to Sapporo. And so the program of the festival, the international program, is my favorite, and I definitely fall in love. So it's basically was the first point we started to connect to each other. And next year Sapporo Short Fest came to Vladivostok International Film Festival, and we did their program together and did their archive program of the festival in Vladivostok, so which was really amazing thing to do. And since that time, we are doing the special podcast for the festival. So basically, how it works every year, I watch the program for you and select the best films from my perspective and do their short description of every film, where the most interesting facts or whatever. And this year, it's already like the 20th edition of the festival, which is amazing. The first, I would like to give you the short introduction. What is this? What is this event about? So first of all, Sapporo Short Film Festival is the festival in Sapporo, Hokkaido, and it's one of the biggest festival in Asian Pacific region. And the specialty of this festival, it's there about short films, and short films of different types, not only the motion picture but also documentaries, animated series, experimental, and dance, and so on. So these guys are doing the amazing job checking the program of the big festivals, the Class A, like for example the Cannes Film Festival or Biennale, and then they select the best that they're gonna show you at the end of the year. So as far as we remember, their festival season ends in November, and Sapporo Short Fest every year in October. So we have a chance to see what's going on in general in short films in the world and how filmmakers see the perspective of the story, the way to tell the story, the new technologies, and so on. So, what's basically the tendency of the film industry, especially the short films? And this is, I think, my personal reason why I love this festival, because every time I see the program, I have at least like 6 or 7 films I would like to invite to their international film festival in Vladivostok for the next year. And I find some interesting works that I personally like. Most of them are about documentaries, because I'm a documentary filmmaker. Yeah, that's pretty much the film festival that form my perspective of the filmmaking every year. And this year I've selected not 10, not 15, but 19 films out of like, there are in general like 42 films this year, and the runtime about more than 10 hours of films, and I've selected the half of short films out of the program. Some of them from Japan, some of them from Russia, from Switzerland, from Norway, France, and so on. So we have a chance to see films from different countries, and 19 films. So let's start. Slowly goes down from the list, and I'm not gonna give you a secret, but I already have the number one out of this 19 works. I have no idea if it's gonna get any award, because award list is not announced yet, but I really hope for that because I love this film. And let's start with their Canadian work. Actually, there is no title, but as far as I can see, it's three, number three, so 1, 2, 3. And this is a story about 3 kids walking around the lake and have like kind of a game about the violence, friendship, and so on. And this was one of the first film I saw from this year program, and it's so intimate and about caring to each other, and about how you can break each other feelings and so on. And probably is the best thing about this film is the cinematography. It's amazingly beautiful, and I noticed that there's almost no words out there, so it's no dialogue film. Yeah, it was the first film that catch my attention out of their whole 42 films. And the next one is the United Kingdom film. The title is Legs. It reminds me of the title of like film The Six Legs that I saw on the same festival last year, but this is definitely another story to tell. So this is their like the sci-fi or the horror film. No, it's more about like the horror film. It's worth to notice that this year Sapporo Short Fest more like about the sci-fi and horror. At least it's their films that more noticeable. And if you look at the program in general, most of the films are about the world that does not exist, or something out of this universe, or about the future. So, and less films about these days, but still, all of these works that we have about these days story are pretty interesting. But I noticed that most of the film about this feeling of horror, and when you're really have a really disturbing feeling that something gonna happen in the next moment and so on. And this film, The Lakes, is one of them. It's without Z. It's called Lakes. It's 15 minutes long. And this is a story about the pregnancy that didn't happen. Uh, and the lady, she ate the spider and tried to keep it inside of her. Yeah, that sounds like a comedy. It's actually like the comedy and horror on the one hand, but it's pretty much disturbing story to see, to watch, which was what like from my side. So the next one, I guess it's gonna be the winner of one of the nomination at least, because this is a German film, Almost Home. First of all, it's incredibly beautiful film. It's made with the high professional quality. As far as you can see, the cinematography, the pictures, the acting, and so on, the sound design. And it's also about the sci-fi and the coming out of age story. And the character, he is so handsome. Like, I'm not gonna show you the picture. You have to Google it first, so you only can see the poster. But yeah, he is the best part of this film, and at least I hope that he's gonna get the part, the award, and so on, because he definitely should have some. This is the story coming out of age about about the boy who's trying to get back from the Mars to the land, to the Earth, and meet the girl, but they having the epidemic, the new one, like the COVID-19, but in 20 years after. So his parents had no idea what to do, and now his decision, come back or stay. So yeah, coming out of age, incredibly beautiful thing. And as far as I remember, it got the award for the best student short film or something like that on their Academy Award. But it can be like the false information, so it's better for you to Google it. So the next one that I've noticed is their Censor of Dreams. The concept is pretty interesting. So this is a story about the guy who's actually censoring the lady's dream about the tragedy that happened 5 years ago. And first of all, we see how the Department of Dreams trying to construct the good way, the good memories, and integrate them into their bad dreams and so on. And this is also like pretty disturbing story because it's about like death and about the loss of the really important part of our life, and about this lost idea of that we lose something important. It's jumping from one film to another in this year program, which is pretty much about, I think, what's going on in the world right now. So people are trying to find a new way how to cope with their loss. So yeah, this is probably the reason why this year we have so many films about that. And Center of Dreams is also about that. So it's a French film. They also speak like half English, half French, and their setting is pretty interesting. So it's difficult to construct this kind of setting, as we can imagine. So there are a lot of people moving, and they're moving object inside of a scene, and it has to happen in a short period of time. We also have to add some kind of a drama, and this is all about this. So first of all, this is interesting from this construction of a scene, and second of all, it's interesting from the story. So the drama in the script is pretty deep. So the next one, yeah, okay, this one is my favorite as well, because this is the simple story that happened nowadays. There's no like sci-fi idea. This is about, but this is also about when we lose something that is important for us. The story about neighbors, two neighbors, and unfortunately the third neighbor that they've been the good friends with, he died a couple of weeks ago, and now the new people are moving in his apartment. But the most important thing in this apartment was the barbecue grill that he had. And this barbecue grill is like their symbol of their friendship, of these three guys living together not far from each other in the one neighborhood, and how they trying to cope with their loss as well, like trying to cope with the friend that is not there anymore, and how the symbol of grill barbecue is helping to do that. And I love the story. I love the setting. That's the simple, and there is nothing special. So it can happen somewhere, like in your neighborhood. It can happen with your parents, with your friends, and even with you. So this is the story for everyone, and I actually loved a lot. So this is a story also from Canada, 12 minutes, just 12 minutes long, and jumping incredibly fast. So I remember like I finished watching this film, and after a couple of seconds I realized that it's not like 5 minutes long, it's 12 minutes, twice longer. So yeah, this really beautiful story. I definitely recommend it, and the both two actors are really handsome and adorable, with great sense of humor. So the next story is that catch my attention, is Huff. This is actually the dance film. I have to notice that in Sapporo Short Film Festival they have, every year they have at least like one or two films that are about dance or plastic of a body. Yeah, it's more about like performance thing, and this film is awesome. So, and the director of the film is Royston Tan. Royston, hi, if you see the podcast. He was their jury member in 2018, the first year I've been at Sapporo Short Fest, and their interesting story is that he also was their participant of Vladivostok International Film Festival 15 years ago or something, and I remembered him, and I showed him the picture, remember the Vladivostok Film Festival, and this is how we met. And next year I have invited him to Vladivostok, so, and he came back not as a participant but also as a jury member, so it was an incredible story. So Royston, hi. And this film, directed by him, it's a slow, incredibly beautiful story, cinematographically pretty beautiful story about the dancer that trying to um, face with his own body through like so this is about like this transformation of a body through their different landscapes and so on, and the really beautiful dance movie. The next work I would like to talk about, oh, Forever Young. Okay, one of them, the second line, okay, not the first line, is about when we lose something important, right? So this is the story that jumping from one film to another in this program, this year program. But the second one is there's pretty much a lot of movies about filmmaking, so about how someone is making a film. I counted at least three, and one of them is amazingly funny story, Forever Young, about two boys that are trying to make a film during quarantine, and their fathers are helping them. So if you're a huge fan of movies from 2000s, from 90s, and so on, you're gonna love this film. It's only 7 minutes long, and there's pretty much a lot of homage for different pop culture references, pop culture films, and other stuff. And all of the film is about that, how the two boys trying to enjoy their childhood and make something crazy, and how their two fathers trying to be a kid again, and enjoy the moment together with their kids during their hardest time for their planet Earth in 2020. This is the second film I put in my favorite top 20, or the top two. Yeah, this one is for sure. It's from France, and again, it's Forever Young. The next one, the next one is also about the childhood and coming out of age, Shower Boys. Um, and this film connects the story about childhood and a little bit of this disturbing feeling that is going through the whole films of this year program at Supper Short Fest. Uh, why I like this film? This is about complicated topic. I'm not gonna tell you what exactly about, because you have to watch to understand. No spoilers. But we can face with that in every country. It doesn't matter in which culture, and even in like progressive cultures where it's normal to be wherever you want, you can face with this issue. It's about friendship. It's about like coming of age, and it's also about their disturbing issue and the question about who we are and how we should be, first of all, truthful to ourselves. Um, so the next, again, the title of the film is Shower Boys. It's from Sweden, and I highly recommend you to watch it, and at least note that this is interesting story to see. So the next one, oh, that's a French animation. This is the first animation in the list. But yeah, I at least selected like 5 short animated films, because I just can't. This is so beautiful. But this one is also sci-fi. This is also horror. This is also a disturbing thing to watch. No, it's not sci-fi. This is horror film. And I'm most likely to name it the body horror. So it's about like somewhere that going deep inside of you, and it's about like how it's better to say, it's about the personal boundaries, and when someone is breaking it and going through it and not even allowed you to make a decision. And plus, this is really beautifully animated. From the first perspective, it can also you look at the film and you think it's not good enough technically, but no. when you go and when you keep watching, and then you realize that this is actually a style, and this style is working for the story. This is why I really love the short films. When you have a chance to see how the different styles work with the different type of stories, and you can deeply experiment with the different forms of filmmaking in the short form. It's more difficult to do when you're having like a motion picture like 1 hour long. It's really difficult to experiment, but when you have in a short form, you have more way to jump from one picture to another, from one style to a different one, and see which one is more reliable for your story. And this is also an example. So first of all, you think like, oh, it's not good enough visually, but then you realize that it's working together with the story about boundaries and the breaking of boundaries and this body horror transformation. So the next one is Happy Life. I have to be honest, the reason why I choose this film for this podcast, because I already saw this movie for the Vladivostok International Film Festival, and I worked so hard to put this film in the program in Vladivostok, and I have to promote this film right now, because this is about the real life and what's going on every day, and how people trying to cope with like trying to cope with their time spending and the new technology and so on. And I also I'm totally falling in love with the style of this film, because they're using the new it's not the clip montage, it's the clip montage is quite the old stuff, but they're using the new technologies that is not typical for the filmmaking and integrating that into the story. So this is something like between the video art and the filmmaking, the documentary filmmaking. This is actually a documentary, right? Yeah, this is the experimental short, as far as they write in their description. And I already watched this film like 5 or 6 times at Vladivostok Film Festival, and I also really enjoy to watch this film right now with help of the Sapporo Short Fest. You have to watch it. This is an example of how the new age documentary works. So you don't have to be like their speaking head in the screen to make a documentary. You should only understand what's your story about and which kind of style you should use for the story, and together it can bring you to an amazing result. And this is the example of the amazing result of the mix of the new way of filmmaking, the documentary style, their art doc, and so on. Happy Life, and it's from Canada, and it's 17 minutes long. My highly recommendation. So the next one, the two shoes. Okay, the second animation in the list. Why two shoes? Because this is sad. This is a really sad story, and this is really funny. This is incredibly funny. This is the dark humor. We can't live with it without the dark humor right now, especially like with lots of things going on in the world, and this is about death as well. So remember, we are losing something that's really important to us, about the loss and how to cope with it. And yeah, this is about like when we have no chance to cope, just like the shit happens. Amazing style. I love the animation style here. This like hand drawing and so on. Only 5 minutes long, from France, and yeah, if you would like to at least laugh about the everyday shit that happened to you, yeah, you definitely should watch this film. This is really the good one. So the next one. The next one is also about the animated film, Lucy and the Rock. This is more about for kids. A really nice story about the little girl that's trying to be a friend with the huge rock that growing out of nowhere in the garden, and this is a really sweet story. I mean, you're watching it and you're like, when something bad is gonna happen, why? No, but I'm sure that's gonna be like in a family and in a family program and family and children. Sapporo Short Fest, by the way, they have the family and children program. And if I have to choose the family and children program, number one, this is gonna be the number one. The two shoes is not for the children, not for the kids. This is for the drunk hard night program. But this one is definitely for come visit the movie theater together with all of your kids and grandparents and sitting and like doing this stuff. Yeah, this really cute one. So the next one is also the experiment stuff. This is the Backflip. The Backflip is from Germany. This is the experimental film. It's not like the dog, it's the documentary. This is the animation, and they also write this experimental shot. And this is about the guy who is trying to do the backflip, but only with the technologies online, with his avatar that he created with the help of this all these magic instruments. The title I don't know. Yeah, but probably my friends who are contemporary artists and work with the digital art, they know exactly the stuff. When you're doing your avatar, and you can do whatever you want on your computer. So this is this about. The reason why I choose this film, because I love when filmmakers trying to think out of a box and at least experiment with the new language. And this is the new language. We don't know how technologies and artificial intelligence and so on gonna work in their next couple of years with the filmmaking language, the language of cinema. And these guys, okay, it looks pretty crazy, but and pretty much so much fun. You should drink a lot before you watch this film, but yeah, it is definitely worth it. And I'm sure that in the next couple of years, this kind of work's gonna be not only in contemporary art museums, but also somewhere in the film festivals. So the next one, we're actually more than half than done. And next one is also animated film, Loop. Why I like this work? Because this is about love. This is just simple, and I love the style. And it's really easy to impress me. It should be something that looks beautiful and it's funny. And sometimes you can add some kind of a screen capture or civilian cameras in footage, and yeah, this is gonna be the perfect film for me. But yeah, this is really beautiful animation from Spain, for 8 minutes long, and this is the story about the world when each human repeats the same action. So, and this is why it's functioning. But one day, the disturbing stuff happened, and the couple trying to destroy the way the world is working and acting. And this is what the most important, and not the most important, but the most interesting thing started to be. And we are going through the story, how they run out and trying to escape this world and so on. So kind of a Bonnie and Clyde stuff. But yeah, by the end, I think love wins everything. But I have to be honest, it's really beautiful short animated film. But this is basically the main reason why I choose it. So yeah, the next one. Yeah, I remember I told you that I noticed the one film I hoped it's gonna take some kind of award. Please, 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 please. It's almost too Japanese. It's not about from Japan. It's from France, but it's too Japanese. I really hope that it's gonna give an award to this film. This is the animated film, which is surprisingly for me. I'm not a huge fan of animated films, but this one is so cool. So the title is My Tiger. My Tiger. And this is the story about the guy who is working for the hair product company, and everyone is working with the really perfect hairstyle, but this guy with the curly hair. And I can understand what how he's struggling like this. I mean, you can see like this, but actually I'm having the curly hair too, and I can understand why he struggles, and I definitely feel for him when I watch this film. It's about lots of humor about how you appreciate yourself, how you love yourself as the way you are, and how you quit trying to prove others that you are the best. The first thing you should do is trust yourself that you are the best person in the world. And I mean, if I have to choose the best one, this is the best film for me, because I definitely feel the connection with this film. The animation is so beautiful, lots of humor, and the director is really handsome as well. I have to say that, or I'm gonna lie. On the other hand, yeah, this is my number one. I know we still have four films after that, but I have to say this is the number one for me. I wish one day I can at least shake a hand to the director and say like, thank you that you are showing this story on the big screen, and the animation is so beautiful, and you're handsome as well. So the next film that is actually a documentary film. The first documentary that we have here, oh no, the second one, is from Kosovo. It's 15 minutes long, and it's called The Displaced. The story about the table tennis school that had to move from one location to another, and how the coach is training kids in a different environment, and how they're like trying to outcome the difficulties with this relocation and so on. Really slow, with no disturbing feeling story, and you see, like this is like it. I don't want to say that it's typical documentary, but it's really good documentary in the new age of documentary. I mean, in my filmmaking world, we call it the art doc, and this is the art doc. It's not about someone is speaking with the camera. It's about that something is happening, and we're trying to catch the atmosphere. And the director definitely did it. I didn't even like have a description here for this film, and there is no poster, but I love it. I love the story. I love how it did, and I like that really good example of art doc. And art doc is number one for me. So the next one, we already have like three movies left. The soul food, the soul food. Okay, the soul food is the story about love as well. It's not about from the loop, but almost. As, remember that in almost in every good movie we have the love that doesn't love couple that doesn't match with others in this world or in this setting, and this is the story. So we having like 15 years old boy and 40, yeah, she's actually 40 years old neighbor, and they started to communicate, and how he is trying to prove her that he is a good partner for her, and like something like this, and they also connect through the food. Soul food is actually the title of their food in North America. That they're I've never tried it, but I've been thinking that it's about that, but no, it's different. So this is about how, in Russian language we have their phrase that describing that is the best way to connect with the heart of a man is go through the stomach. So yeah, so she's basically connecting to him through his stomach, as far as I get the story, but this is the good one. So the next one, oh, I also saw this film before. Sorry for my pronunciation, but I guess it's the Science Tears. Why I loved it, why I like this film. This film that's trying to integrate the real facts. So it's like it's mockumentary or something, but made with the help of animation, which is rare right now. It's difficult to make this kind of films, and we are in the middle of historical event and trying to go through the head of the people and see how they feel. I saw this project before, and I wish we can invite it for Vladivostok International Film Festival, but unfortunately not. And I really happy to see this film here. This is also from France, and this is also animation. And it's made by student and only like 9 minutes long, incredibly beautiful. And the last one, unfortunately, yeah, there's 19th film I selected this year for the Sapporo Short Fest, and to be honest, I don't even know how to pronounce the title of this film. So you're gonna see the poster here, and it was the last film I saw in the program, but it's kind of a conclusion of whole films I saw before. So this is the comedy, this is the horror, grotesque and fantasy. So lots of things happening in the short period of time. So only 6.5 minutes, the length of the film, and the way the storytelling goes in this film is definitely connecting with the other films in the program. So if you if you don't have a time to watch the whole programs of the Sapporo Short Fest, you definitely should watch the program where this film is, because you're gonna understand what's going on in the short film market in general. This is a story about a man who is late and trying to, like, kind of, how to say that, he's trying to get out of this feeling, and this far that he's running faster and faster, he's actually ending up somewhere that he is not expecting. Yeah, I'm probably not the best person to describe the films, but this is the story. And this was the last film I would like to tell you about this year, in this year event, and this year program for the Sapporo Short Film Festival. Again, this is an honor for me that I have a chance to watch the program before all of the audience and select the best and give my personal recommendations. And I also have a chance to invite some of these films for the next edition of Vladivostok International Film Festivals. And I highly recommend you to enjoy the festival offline and on online events that's gonna happen. Offline events gonna happen in Sapporo, and they are also giving the opportunity to the people all over the world to see the program of the festival. So check their website. The website is here, and remember, the good films started from the short form, and as far as you can experiment in the short form, there are new doors opening for you as a filmmaker and also for you as the audience, because when you watch the short film, you have more chances to go deep inside of the filmmaking and don't have to spend so much time in the movie theater. That's the reason why I love short films and the reason why I'm in love with the Sapporo Short Film Festival. So, arigatou gozaimashita, and see you next year. Bye!